Hey everybody, Pastor Vern with your daily update for September 21st. It's a Monday, 2020. As we continue to look at the different books of the Bible and kind of get an idea of what they contain and how we can use them to further enhance our Christian life. Today we're going to talk about the Hebrews, the book of Hebrews, often known as the letter to the Hebrews, even though, and I don't know if you know this, it really didn't have any title on it. The letters that Paul wrote most generally had, letter to Timothy, letter to the church in Ephesus, the letter to the church for the Colossian people, but this one really had no title to it. But it's almost unmistakably written to people who have come through the Hebrew culture and have formed this church. And one of the reasons we say that is there was a lot of talk in this one about the history of the Hebrew people, and it also has a lot of talk about how to move forward. Let us go forward or let us go on is one of the common themes, because what we have here is a group of people who have come up through Judaism and now are Christians, but they remain babes. We talk about that once in a while, how Christians start out with on the baby stage, and they start out with baby food, simple things, and they continue to mature and grow in their faith. And what's happened here with this particular group of people who have come up through Judaism, they're not growing. They're not attempting to grow. They're staying this phase. In fact, I think Paul feared that they were going to go back to Judaism and lose that good news, that message of Jesus Christ. They were going to lose that gift of salvation in the way that we know it. And so he writes this letter in his usual style. He has a lot to do with the early part of it, has a lot to do with doctrine and correcting some of the problems that they've been facing, and they move on to judgment, angels, the history of the Hebrew people, how all of what has been going on with their forefathers, who they would have understood the stories of, how that was moving into how Christ was going to come to them in this time. And some people call this the hero chapter, because he relates a lot of the stories of Abraham, Isaac, Moses, Joshua, all the people who were the heroes of the Hebrew faith. And so, along with those kind of things, he tells them that you need to keep moving forward, that this is the faith of your fathers enhanced by the coming of the Messiah. All right. We kind of broke down into a couple things. First is the first about 10 chapters is a lot of it's doctrine. We get a lot of doctrine in the epistles, a lot of doctrine by Paul. And by the time that this letter would have been written, Paul's doctrine, Paul's theories of worship, of salvation, of organization of the church are getting pretty well being universally accepted. And so he's strong on that in the first chapters. And then in the closing chapters of the book, he talks about how to practically put this into practice, the practical aspect of the doctrine. It's a pretty good read because it has a combination of both Old Testament and New Testament theology and or events and so on. So it's kind of a great thing to link the two together. If you got a chance, give it a read. Even though it's a little longer book, it's a fairly quick read, because especially if you're someone who's had some Bible background, because a lot of the things you're going to be reading about are very familiar to you. And if you don't have a Bible background, I tell you what, this is a good book to read to learn the marriage between the Old and the New Testament. All right. I can't guarantee what's going to happen the rest of the week for you. I'm recording this ahead of time, obviously, and I'm going to be away from the church next week. So if we get some made up, I'll get them loaded. If not, don't get concerned that if you can't find them, because from Tuesday through Friday is a little bit of might be a hit and a miss on having these loaded. We will be back, so we should be back to our dailies, if not the rest of next week, by the 28th. I know some of you folks are finding this helpful and kind of look forward to the dailies. So we're going to keep doing that. We're going to get through the books of the Bible here pretty quick, and then we're going to look at another aspect of our Christian life and get into a couple things a little bit deeper that way. So I'm looking forward to that time when I can share that with you. I have, my number of weeks are starting to be limited that I'm going to have with you. So I'm going to try to hit some things that will be meaningful and help you grow as a person of faith. All right. Well, you know what? You take good care of yourselves, watch out for others, and be safe. We'll talk to you later.